blesse mon cœur d'une langueur monotone. Je répète, blesse mon cœur d'une langueur monotone.
Hey everybody, Dutchsinse here. 6:39 p.m. Central Time on Sunday, August 24th, 2014. And I've got you looking at Earthquake 3D here, which is a USGS feed of the most recent earthquakes. And you can see it, a 7.0 magnitude earthquake struck inland on the shores of Peru. And this is on top of the 6.0 that struck in California today, and of course the Icelandic eruption of a large volcano below a glacier in Iceland. It's a lot of activity to see in the last 24 hours, and if we take it back over the last 48, you'll see there was already a 6.7, which was now downgraded to a 6.4 magnitude earthquake down here in Chile yesterday. So 6.0, 6.7, and now a 7.0 in the last 24 hours. That's a lot of activity to see. I would encourage you guys to come over and check out my post on my website. I'll put a link down below to this, where you can check out the California earthquake that happened earlier today, which caused some pretty major damage, if you ask me. I mean, considering California is supposed to be earthquake ready, a lot of structures were damaged in north central California, just north of San Francisco in the Napa Valley. But this 7.0, guys, this is a lot of activity to see. And look at the depth on that. The higher these are off the planet, the deeper they are. It's rather shallow, so I'm guessing there will be some damage in the area. Luckily, it's not as populated as you would imagine down there, more in the mountains than it is towards the coast. So let's just zoom in here and you can see that's where the earthquake occurred, right where the little check mark goes down to the point there. That's from the USGS. They may change that. This may go up or down. It originally started as a 6.8. They immediately revised it to a 7.0. We'll have to wait and see what the ultimate outcome on the magnitude is. But again, a lot of activity going on. We're looking at the earthquakes over the last 48 hours here, 4.0 and greater internationally. So you can see the West Pacific. Look at that cluster of 4.0 activity. I would say somewhere right in the middle here, we would need to watch over the next 24, 48, possibly 72 hours for some compensation movement, for all that movement to occur around the area and not see anything occur here in the Taiwan region going into Philippines. Watch here over the next several days going up into Japan, okay? And in Europe, we have a cluster point starting to pick up again, at least around the area in Turkey that had that 7.0 activity. Now again, here's Iceland. You can see the swarm happening there. That's the Bardarbunga volcano in Iceland. So the swarm activity that's happening there, I think, is having an effect over here in Europe, and that's why we're seeing this clustering out here going right up to the mid-Atlantic ridge. Now the U.S. is being pressed on both sides. I've got this all covered in my earthquake post here. This is something I put out on Facebook earlier today. So the links are down below. Always have an earthquake plan ready and be prepared just in case. You never know when it could strike. If you live in the United States, we're on heightened watch now along the edge of the craton. And that's in my post here. Let me just go ahead and show this to you in case you don't know what's going on with the United States. The unsubducted plate, whenever we see movement here to the west, it puts pressure onto the unsubducted part of the plate. Yellowstone right here, going down through the fracking operations at Colorado and New Mexico, extending down through Texas at the fracking and oil fields, going back up to the fracking and oil fields in Oklahoma and Kansas, reaching over through Arkansas at the fracking operations, and then going up through the fracking operations in West Virginia, Pennsylvania, New York, and Ohio. We need to watch those areas for possible earthquake movement in the next several days because of the activity that we're seeing here in the Pacific. And it's putting pressure on the plate here. We got the 6.0 in California here. It means we need to watch the edge of the North American plate going pretty much all the way down here to Puerto Rico. So that does extend. The deformed edge of the plate meets up with several other plates down here, and that usually results in some kind of earthquake activity here after all this moves. But first things first, need to watch the U.S. along the edge, and of course, watch the Pacific now. We're going to need to watch Central America, the area in between, let's say, Salton Sea and the earthquake activity down here in Chile and Peru. That could put Nicaragua through central Mexico on watch. Also, British Columbia, Vancouver Island. We need to be on watch here. There hasn't been any activity there in a while since that large 7.0, 7.8, I think, or 8.0 that struck almost 2 years ago. So there hasn't been any large-scale movement in BC in a while. With the amount of movement that's happening everywhere else, we definitely need to be on watch in BC as well. Much love, guys.